In the stillness of dawn, under the watchful eyes of the universe, I was born into a legacy both ancient and fraught with shadows. My lineage was one of power. A throne awaited me, yet it was shrouded in the darkness of my grandfather's tyranny. My mother, sensing the peril that clung to our bloodlines, made a courageous choice. She whisked me away, not to the cold halls of royalty, but to the fertile soil of America, a land where dreams sprout like wildflowers. I was free to grow under the warm sun of possibility, far from the looming specter of my past. Even as a young boy, the world around me was a puzzle waiting to be solved. Authority, with its rigid lines and unwavering rules, only fueled my curiosity. I sought answers in the pages of books, each one a portal to a different realm of thought. I consumed knowledge like air, and by the time I reached the gates of high school, I had already walked through 1,000 worlds. These books were more than just stories or facts. They were the keys that unlocked the secrets of the universe, kindling a flame within me that refused to be extinguished. With animals, I found a bond that was unspoken yet profound, a connection that transcended words. I could feel their emotions as if they were my own, sensing their fears, joys, and desires. This empathy wasn't just a gift, it was a lifeline. It grounded me, providing solace in a world that often seemed too harsh, too indifferent. Later in life, this bond would become a compass, guiding me through the labyrinth of human experience. As the years passed, the realities of life began to impose their will. I took on work, not out of passion, but out of necessity, to provide, to survive. But the corporate world, with its endless pursuit of profit and productivity, felt like a cage. My soul longed to soar, to create, but I found myself shackled by the demands of a system that valued conformity over creativity. The days blurred together in a monotonous grind, leaving little room for the dreams I had once nurtured. Each morning, I would rise to the sound of an alarm, but inside, something slowly was falling asleep. One ordinary day, the universe answered my silent prayers. The call came not as a whisper, but as a clarion, echoing through the chambers of my soul. It wasn't just a call to share my story. It was a summons to action, a sign that the time had come to step into my true purpose. Suddenly, everything began to shift. The paths that once seemed hidden in shadows were now illuminated with clarity. The journey ahead was uncertain, but for the first time, I felt a steady pulling towards my destiny and purpose. Public speaking was a mountain I never intended to climb. The idea of standing before a crowd, exposed and vulnerable, sent shivers down my spine. I knew that to fulfill my purpose, I had to conquer this fear. With each speech, each moment on stage, I wrestled with the anxiety that clung to me like a second skin. Slowly, the fear began to dissipate, replaced by a glowing confidence that I was exactly where I needed to be. My voice, once shaky and uncertain, found its strength in the truth I had to share. The business world was a battlefield where integrity was often the first casualty. I led with my heart, believing that if I stayed true to myself, success would follow. But the reality was far more complex. Contracts, negotiations, and the unspoken rules of commerce tested my resolve at every turn. It was a constant struggle to balance my principles with the demands of a world that seemed to thrive on compromise. I held fast to my values, knowing that to lose them would be to lose myself. The victories were hard fought. They were mine and they were true. Over time, the seeds I had planted began to grow. I found myself stepping into the role of a teacher, a guide, something I had always dreamed of. My influence expanded, not because I sought it, but because I remained authentic to myself. The recognition that came, the interviews, the accolades, the bestseller status was never the goal. It was simply a reflection of the impact that truth, when spoken with conviction, can have. What mattered most were the connections I made, the lives I touched, and the knowledge that I was finally living the life I was meant to live. I will never forget the moment I first sat down for an interview on Coast to Coast. It was as if all my struggles and all my challenges had led me to this point. My book, now a bestseller, was in the hands of people I've never even met, yet were connected through the words I had written. This wasn't just a personal victory. It was a sign that my message was resonating far beyond my sphere. Even with success, I remained grounded, remembering that my journey was not about fame, but about truth. And in that truth, I found my power. In a world where compromise is often the easiest path, I have made it my mission to stay true to who I am. The powers that be may try to sway you and to tempt you with promises of success if you just bend a little. But what I've learned is that true success comes not from what you gain, but from what you refuse to lose, your integrity, your sense of self. I walked this path without succumbing to the pressures to conform, and it's that inner strength, that unwavering commitment to my truth that has brought me to where I am today. As I look back on my journey, I am humbled by the impact of my work. My story, once just a personal journey, has become a beacon for others searching for their own path. The messages I received, the stories of lives changed, remind me that this was never just about me. It was about all of us, about the collective journey we are all on. I am grateful to be a part of that, to have found my place in this world, and to continue sharing what I've learned. My story is just one of many, but it is a reminder that no matter where you come from, you have the power to rise above your circumstances and create a life of meaning and purpose. We all have a role to play in this world, and it is up to each of us to decide how we want to play it. My hope is that by sharing my journey, you will be inspired to find your own, to live with integrity, and to never lose sight of the light within you.
Galactic Jedis, just don't forget to check out my website for my upcoming classes this September, our cosmicorigin.com and Ascension Basics. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much, and thank you for being a part of my journey.